So, hi everyone. I really welcome everyone, in today's event, and I'm sure we are all excited, right, to be here today because I myself am really, really excited. Okay, so before we start, I would, um, okay, so let's just start officially. I was waiting for someone to join before, but yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm Lola, and I would be your host for today's exciting UX event. And I'm really thrilled. I'm really excited to be here with you all. And I would like to give a special shout out to Inventors, for having to help me to host this event. So let me just give a brief introduction to what Inventors do. Right. So Inventors is just like a community of developers, right? Designers and let me just say tech enthusiasts, right? So it's just like we're trying to bring together both newbies and experts, right? And more also, we also want to try to ensure that we are really, really growing in this community, right? So more also, the community was founded by a group of innovative and motivated individuals. And we have some of them on this call, likes of, Antonio Adedayo, Aderi Bole Jumon, Fred Adebayo, and Balumi Ashefon Omoima. Yes, so I think we should just appreciate them because they've really been really helpful for us in this community. So today we are really lucky to have some of them on this call. And before we dive into today's agenda, I would like to also introduce our incredible guest speaker for today, which is Opeoluwa Ogumodede. Yeah, sure I really get that right. Yeah, so he's really a good designer, and yeah, so I'm sure we are a lot excited to have this deep insight and valuable experience that is going to share with us today, right? So I think we should just get ourselves formed up. So let's not get too serious right now, right? So before we start, let's just do like a short icebreaker, right? So if you are really excited to be here and just share like a word that describe how you're going to feel about today's event. So it could just be something like, okay, I'm excited, right? So you can just share that on the chat box. Yes, I'm just going to hand over to Okpeoluwa Ogumodede. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Lola. Um, I hope everybody can hear me clearly, loud and clear. If you can hear me, please, someone can just give me feedback if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful event. It's really a great honor to be here. I think this will be like a first major event for the designers. Yeah, so welcome everyone. Um, all right, thank you so much, Ola, for introducing me. And my name is Okoliwa Mwelebi, and I'm a product designer. Uh, I've worked in a lot of fields. I have about 6+ years experience in product design, and over the course of that 6 years, I've worked in some major fields from healthcare to fintech to working in an IT company full time, and that's company that we build SaaS products, right? In, to real estate and to many others like that. So I have a very vast knowledge in digital products. Yeah. So, so today we're going to be talking about the intersection of UX and business strategy, right? How the okay, sorry, Lola, is there anything you want to say before I begin? What time?
Okay, let me quickly try to chip this in. So, guys,
Okay.
please, in case you have any question, don't hesitate to just drop the question on the chat box. I will do well to, to tell Okwe that we have some question after it's done with this session. So, Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so let's begin. Mm, I don't know. I want to share my screen. Okay, all right, thanks. Mm, Let me just use a different system. Please do confirm once you can see my screen. I want to share. Let's just present stuff. Okay, someone is raising up their hand. You can speak or just drop it in the chat box, right? Someone will attend to you. In case you have anything
So
or
I
any
think you can
question.
continue. There's
So
no
please confirm if you
problem.
can see my screen. Okay,
Yes,
thank
I
you.
can.
Please confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, so let's begin. So our topic is the intersection of UX and business strategy. So UX is user experience, right? How does it relate to business strategy? How do they intersect? How do they help one another? How does it, how is it, why is it important? Right. So it's this is relating to not only designers alone, it's relating to all fields, whether programming or marketing, business or whatever. Um, so we want to try and get clarity on why they intersect and why they should always be relevant when building digital product or physical products, right? So how designers can align their work with broader business goals, right? So this is our agenda for today. I don't know if you can see everything, but if you really want to follow up, you can just take a screenshot. So we're going to be talking about UX, business strategy, why the why the alignment, why does it matter, the role of UX in business success, how to understand and prioritize. So just like that. So because of our time, let's just dive right in because we have a lot to cover. So starting first, what is UX? What is business strategy, right? Sometimes people really do not. I think I need to just talk about this quickly. For some people that do not really understand the difference between UI, UX, and product design, right? I get that question a lot. So let us just define what UX is. UX means so UX encompasses all aspects of end user interaction with the company, its services, and its products, right? It has to do with how the user feel about the product. If the user doesn't feel good about using the product, or if that's a bad experience, right? So that's that about UX. So let me just talk about what's on the screen before I talk about UI, UX, and product design. I always like to clear that at the beginning because people usually ask that at the end of the whole thing. So business strategy refers to the plan and action the company undertakes to achieve its business goals, including marketing, position, revenue growth, and competitive advantages. So now, business strategy, these are steps that the company takes to be able to attain their goal. That's maybe to reach a number of users, or probably to sell a particular product to in a country, in a localization, in a region, or anything, or to raise a particular amount of funds or anything like that, or to stand out amongst their competitors. So that's just like the basics of business strategy. How do you want to do your thing that's different from your competitors' thing? So now UX and business strategy intersect by focusing on user needs to achieve business goals. Just like every regular product that we see out there, you're focusing on the user's needs. It's the user that will use the product, not you, the owner of the product, right? And when you have a product and that product uh, doesn't solve the problem that you're creating it for, then you're not meeting business goals. That means there's no revenue, you will not have sales, there won't be customer satisfaction, you will not have loyal customers to come back and use that product. So definitely, if there's bad experience, definitely the business is not going to grow, which is going to also collapse. So definitely, that's going to be and bad UX, which lead to poor business goals and terrible business strategy. Right. So let me go back to what I wanted to explain at the beginning. The difference between UI, UX, and product design. I know it's not related, but I just want to clear that because many people don't understand. So when you say someone, okay, UI is the visual representation of a particular product that a user interacts with, right? Um, like you're looking at your screen right now, you're hitting the red button to cancel, volume button to do this, do that. That's user interface, what the user interacts with. UX is how you feel about that. We're able to find something easily, we're able to complete a task. How do you feel? Was it readable? Was it accessible? Is it easy to use? That's user experience. Now, UI UX, or they say UI UX designer and product designer. UI UX designer is more of a usability person that is in charge of how the product looks, how the user feels, just that. About the product interface and the usage, the way the product moves from one place, how the user interacts with that product. That's what the UI UX designer is concerned about. But the product designer is a lot more vast, right? The product designer focuses more on everything that the UI UX designer focuses on and the business aspect of that particular product. Now, that's what brings us to business strategy. A product designer is very, very much more interested in the business things, the cost of building a product, the strategy, the way the product is going to be marketed, all those things. The product designer is very, very much more involved. So if someone asks you, are you a UX designer or you're a product designer? Sometimes they are used interchangeably, but you just need to understand the in-depth responsibility that comes with being a product designer. Right? So that's it. Okay. So let's move to the next one, which is, I believe you can hear me. Right. Okay. All right. So why UX and business strategy align matters. The reason it matters is um, when you're building a product and the users don't even feel so good about the product, you're not going to make sales. Right? You're not going to make any money. So we said UX experience and business strategy might seem like they are from different worlds, but it's super important to them to important for them to be on the same page for any company to do well. When they work together smoothly, it results in products and services that make customers happy and boost business growth big time. They must work in sync. The product must be good, the experience must be good, and the strategy to push that product for everybody to be able to adopt and use that product is very, very important. If the product is good and the business strategy is bad, you will not get sales, there will not be revenue and so. So as a designer, it's not just about making the product look good, it's about making it look good for certain users. There are some products that are made for some certain users, and if you are not part of um, that user circle or anything, you won't feel the use or the benefit of that product to the maximum. So the business strategy is to point at a specific market with some specific users and plans and all of those that. So that's why we are here to talk about the things to look at to be able um, to focus a particular product to which word should I use to be able to attain that specific business goal. So here a brief overview of its significance. Why is it important um, to put together the UX and the business strategy? Why it's important for us to put it together? So customer satisfaction and reality. When UX synchronizes perfectly with the business strategy, you will definitely get customer satisfaction and their loyalty and data driven insights. When there's a proper research about the user's needs, definitely there will be data driven insights. That means when you're building a product, you won't just be building the product for your own personal needs or because you feel it's so good, but you'll be building it based on the data that was collected during the research process for that particular product.
So you're going to be building a product that is data driven, right? So you're also going to have competitive advantage. Data is life, we all know, not the data for browsing. We're talking about the data for that you collected during research, right? So it helps you to stand out and be ahead of your competitors. Then increase conversions, that's higher sales, higher revenue, then branding reputation. So excuse me, I got I had to take a short break. Yeah, so let's continue. So lastly, there's going to be cost reduction. So take for instance, I had an experience recently with a product. I don't know if it's right to mention the product. Let's just I'll say PGVS for instance. And so I'm talking about cost reduction now. The reason why UX and business strategy have to synchronize, right? In terms of using this particular product, that's PGVS right now. There was a month I was supposed to take in some interest, right? But the interest rate I got was not what I expected. So now I was now thinking of, okay, will I have to message these people on Twitter or Instagram or send an email to get this thing rectified? Because all the numbers they had on the app was not going through. So I was like, okay, how will I solve this particular problem? Only for me to click on that particular history, and I saw a button that says, uh, what did it say? It said, I've forgotten this particular one. It asked me to okay, I'm trying to remember that exact word. To dispute, yes, to dispute that particular transaction. And right on that spot, it actually reconfigured itself and then paid me the right amount of interest I was expecting. Now, so I believe that they actually did a lot of research and know that okay, these problems are normal for us to cut down costs, right? Let us impute these things into our products to save us the cost of employing a customer representative that will attend to customers and all that. And that gave me this assurance that if there's any problem, I think I can rectify it myself without having to reach out to them, right? So like that, they've cut down the cost of having to employ extra analysts to come on and stuff, and then increase the product experience. That means I can trust them to know that, okay, if there's any problem, I can do it by myself, right? So like that, the efficient use can streamline processes, reduce support costs, and minimize user errors. Like that, I'll know that if anything happens, I'm running myself. You get. So in essence, US is no longer just about making things look pretty. It's also about making it work. So the role of UX in business success, customer satisfaction, right? Revenue growth, competitive advantage, efficiency, innovation, brand building, and data-driven decision making. Like I said earlier before, everything is built up on data. If you collect enough research, you'll be able to drive a business forward. Now, as a designer, let me just talk to designer generally. It's not just about building a product. It doesn't have to look good for it to work. As long as you are building and designing according to the user's needs. Sometimes I design, when I design my design style guide, and sometimes a colleague of mine will look at me like, why do you make the buttons sharp edged? And sometimes you design it to make it curved edge. Like when you are designing for a particular type of people, let's take for instance now, people of 35 years or above, or let's say 40 years, 50, 60. Those people don't really care about whether it is beautiful or not, right? They want to just make sure that whatever it is they want to do, they want to do it as fast as possible and just get on with it. It is the young people that really care about how the button looks, how the app looks, how the pictures that you use. So when you're designing for some level of people, you need to collect enough data to be able to reach out to that particular market. You know, okay, these people, they want to be able to read things easily. Colorful thing doesn't work for them, right? So UX in that kind of business is very, very important. You collect enough data to understand the user's needs and then to be able to strive in that competitive market. So let's go forward then. Next is company where UX and business strategy intersect for success. Excuse me. So let's take Amazon as a case study now. It's a one-click checkout, personalized recommendation, easy navigation contribute to amazing, exceptional UX, which is true. If you use Amazon a lot, you know that when you want to buy a product, they suggest something that works in line with that. You end up buying more than you came for, right? So the business strategy was to focus on users' convenience, has transformed. This focus on users' convenience has transformed Amazon into an e-commerce giant with a vast customer base. Because they will always suggest something that is in line with what you ordered. They'll be like, other people that ordered this also ordered this, right? So like that, they know if we make the experience of this user, like if you suggest to them things that they might not even need, right? They end up purchasing those things and later figure out that they need them, right? So that way they were able to break the market to be successful in the e-commerce field. Like we know Amazon is the top e-commerce company in the world, right? Then Apple, their UX is known for its intuitive and sleek designs. Apple prioritizes users' experience in every product. Just like when you buy a new Apple product, when you open it, you know the feeling, the premium feel of buying an Apple device. It is because of the feeling they put into the UX that then drives the business strategy to flow. Because when you feel good about a product, you don't really care whether it's expensive. You still want to buy it. Yeah, so this focus on UX has solidified Apple's premium brand image, leading to high customer loyalty and premium pricing. They give you this feeling that you're buying something that is worth owning. It is just a feeling. That user experience is the feeling. And you don't and some people can empty their bank account because of just to get that feeling. Right? That premium feel is just what they give. And you are getting the premium product. It's the feeling, right? Even some other brands will do it, but the way Apple does it is in a different way on another level. So that's why you feel like it's a premium product and I can spend my money, which is helping them to make a lot of money. So that's a successful business. While we go to Netflix as well, personalized recommendations, seamless streaming, and binge watching capabilities. Many of us that use Netflix, you know that when you want to register on Netflix, they'll ask you, what kind of movies do you like? Right? Once you select those things, they begin to suggest a lot of movies for you. In fact, you begin to get guilty like movies day, data day, this thing cheap, but I don't have the time to watch it, right? It is because of the kind of feeling they create for you. Because once they give you that suggestion, you just feel like this is all the things that I like. And they now make in the business strategy part, they give you a good feeling to use the app. They now in the business strategy, they now made it cheap. So it's going to align something good, so plus cheap together gives you astonishing feeling, right? That's a successful business. They say by understanding viewers' preference, Netflix has created a subscription model that keeps users engaged and keeps subscribing because it's cheap and you have access to things you love. Even if when you don't need it sometimes, you just pay for it like in case I need it, right? That's a successful market because they think about the user's experience. You want something and they make it cheap. A very good business strategy. You put it together. And at your convenience, you can be on your phone, your laptop, in your sitting room, that experience. So lastly, we talk about Tesla, which sleek design, advanced technology, and over-the-air updates. The feeling of buying a car, that car can come with another feature tomorrow just with the software updates. I saw a tutorial one time like that somebody was talking about Tesla, and he said when he bought it, the car could just go, I think, 200 miles per hour. And the software update came, and it can go from, it now went from 200 to 240. Like, normally, if you want to do that with the Camry, you have to buy some hardware, or maybe change some things, suspension, all this stuff. But with the Tesla, just update, and you are good to go. So someone that cares about that I want to buy new things every time, right? We will definitely see Tesla as a very good product. They don't even care about the price because I can get new features every day with just an update. right? So by focusing on a superior user experience, Tesla has positioned itself as a leader in the electric vehicle market, which is true. Even if we have hundreds of them, everybody will still always remember Tesla. Because they have something unique to offer. And the experience, the feel they give you in your car when you are sitting in it, you know you are sitting in something premium, right? So those are our case studies. So number is we're going to the fourth part. Excuse me. So please can you let me know if you can still hear me? So I won't be talking to myself.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Please let me know if you can hear me and if my voice is a little
Yeah, I
bit
can hear
on the
you.
low side. All right. All right. Thank you so much. So how to understand and prioritize business goals, which is very important. So collaborating with stakeholders is crucial for aligning UX efforts with the company's overarching goals, right? Uh, we all know that stakeholders include a lot of people. This could be the CEO of the company, the CTO, the developer, the business team, marketing team, and all of that. So collaborating with everybody helps a business to grow as a UX person. So open, honest communication, that is establishing trust, active listening. You know, I believe most people don't even do research when they want to build a product. To be honest, I'll say 50% of people don't even do research. They just dive in straight into design, and which is very wrong because it doesn't make sense to change the overall look of a product, right? And then you are still getting the same results. You sometimes wonder that these companies, I can design this thing that they did now. It's so easy. Do you know how much of research goes into those things? Do you know how the people they have to talk to be able to achieve those things? In fact, you might see them choose a font. You'll be like, ah, that font, I've used it before now. There is a reason for everything. Why did they choose that font? Why did they choose that color? Right? Why is this button like this? There's a reason for everything. So as a UX researcher, a UX designer, there has to be a reason for everything. They will say to be intentional about everything, right? So active listening, genuinely listening to elders' perspective. They might be saying six and they might be saying nine, but you need to know the reason why they say nine, right? Then regular communication, because most people like to work aside, to be honest, which is very, very wrong. You just ghost and appear when you have something to show, which is very, very wrong. So collaboration with stakeholders is very important. Regular communication. Then joint workshops and meetings. Some people don't like to do meetings when it comes to product, right? It's good to collaborate with other people, organize workshops and meetings to discuss the company's direction. If you are building for a company, building for a client, let them talk to you what they want to solve. Excuse me. Understanding the problem is very, very important. So it's needed to collaborate. Then shared goals clearly define the purpose of the meeting and its expected outcomes. Like, what are we doing here? What do we want to do? By the end of this meeting, what should we have done? Right? Then the third one is brainstorming. Encourage open dialogue and idea sharing. Nobody knows it all. Even the developer on the team that is just eager to see, just finish design, make I start design. Sometimes it's right to ask it, because even the developer is a user too, right? So sometimes they have decisions to make, but when they remember the reason why you made that decision, they won't decide to change things behind you without first of all tell, okay, you know what? I think this way is better. What do you think? So you can give them a reason, okay, this is why I did this. So you have to do it that way because I know developers now. They change designers' work a lot just for their own convenience. They don't know the reason why they did it that way. So one-on-one interviews, deep diving, uncover hidden insights, then building relationships. Very important. Strengthen connection with stakeholders because now a friend will tell you the truth, right? So then the fourth one is visualization and presentations. So this is where the part of um, showing wireframes and the user flows, user journey is very, very important. So you use visuals to convey complex information. Because sometimes people have ideas, right? So it's always nice for pictorial ideas to be like you should create your ideas into physical forms so that people can actually relate with it. That's why we have wireframes, right? So people can say, okay, I think this is much more explainable. Then that's why we have prototypes as well. Then align UX with business goals, which is why we are here. Demonstrate how UX can contribute to companies' objective. If the product is good and it doesn't feel right in the hands of the users, then business goal is not achieved. Then seeking feedback, which is very, very important. Many people don't seek feedbacks. In fact, people fight when they get feedbacks, which is very, very wrong. A lot of people don't like feedbacks, right? They encourage stakeholders to provide insights and suggestions. Everybody's suggestions matter. And also, as a UX designer, you should always know that feedback should be your friend because when people correct your work, it is a way to grow. Right? Then let's take a short break on questions. If there are any questions, please. If there are any
Um,
questions,
yeah, so thank you so much, Okwe, for I mean, I really learned a lot already, and it
okay.
feels like I'm still there. Yeah, so um before you continue, so I don't know if anyone has any question for us to ask. Um so any question from anyone? Yes, please, Joshua.
Thank you, Laura. Good evening, everyone. Okay, thanks for this insightful knowledge you shared. I wanted, I had a question before, I prepared it before coming, so I don't know if it quite relates to the conversation, but I feel it does. So I'm going to ask it that way because recently I've been on some Twitter space and a conversation was brought up about Orga-centered design. That is Orga-centered design. So and having it here that you have UX and business strategy. So you made a statement about most business owners not um, doing enough research before launching a product and all of that. Most of them not going in depth to understanding what the users need. They just only have an idea and they feel is going to serve the large markets. So uh, in a case whereby some might actually where my question lies is in the fact that there are some who actually carry out their research but as a UX designer, one thing you're meant to do is to understand the business goals and also the target audience and find a common ground where both can coexist and work together. So, in a case whereby you are working as a UX designer for a company that is fast paced. They know that okay, they need to ship this product at the their MVP in so month. They bring you on board, and you really do not have time to like do any research on your end. What you just have to do is get information from the stakeholders involved, the CEO, and people who formed the idea. How do you manage yourself in such a situation to still make well-informed decisions about how this product serves the intended audience? I don't know if that makes sense, if it's clear.
Yes, that's very clear. Thank you, Joshua. So, sometimes when you even join an interview, they used to ask this kind of question too. So, so I'll say in a fast-paced environment where they want you to work as fast as possible and all of that, and they already give you the information and they just want you to just dive in with the information they already give, right? In this kind of situations, sometimes it's always good to do your own research, even if it's going to be very, very difficult to do, because what you do not understand, you do not understand. If they bring what they've already done to you, it feels like an half baked bread, and they just ask you to continue baking it. You don't know how long it has been baked for, or how good the flour is, or anything of such, right? You just have to continue. But that's where taking your time to do your own research also comes in. It might be very hard, but at the end of the day, if they do not get the results that they need, it's going to blow up your face because you are the designer and much is expected from you as the UX person. So it is also very, very important to do your own research it might not be very, very like it might not be as deep as you want because of the time that you have. But it is very, very important to do your own research. Now, when after doing your own research, then you then create a two case studies now, like two scenarios with your own data and with their own data, right? And then you say, okay, fine. This is the data you gave me, right? And I think with I've gotten these results with this particular data that you've given me. Now, with my own data that I took, these are the solutions that I was able to bring. Then this is the result if you go your way. This is my own result. This is the result if you go my way. So now this is the point for them to now choose and be like, okay, I think your way might be good or our way is better, right? Because you as the designer, you definitely know which way is best. But because they came with their own data, it is very difficult for you to convince them now. So you have to just stand your ground and be like, this is the reason why we are going this way. And if you follow your own suggestion, this is where we will arrive at, right? So which way should we go? Now, this time, at this point, it's no longer in your hands. If they still decide that they want to go their way, no problem. You can just put your own decision on draft. And when the company launches or the product goes so far and all of that, if there is any reason to then divert back to the drawing board, then your suggestion will be very, very relevant on the thing, right? Because like you said earlier, you said OGA based, sorry, please can you correct me on that?
Of
OGA
that
based
center
decision,
design.
yes, OGA centered design. We get it a lot. This is Africa. We get it a lot.
Yeah.
I like green, use green. I like red. My wife likes pink. You know those kinds of things. But
Yeah.
it is always good for you to just take that little extra mile and do your own. At the end of the day, 70% of the time they will still end up going with your own idea because it definitely will make a lot more sense because you did it yourself. Right. So
Thank you very much.
yeah, I guess so. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's clear. Is there anyone with other questions so we can move? So in the absence of
Yes, so there is no other question. Okay, so let me ask this simple one. So when it comes to UX business, right? So how do you think we can actually achieve, something like a long-term customer loyalty? It's kind of related to what Joshua asked. And the reason why I'm saying this is because regarding this question, I've been in a situation like that so many times. In fact, it's got to a point that I was really, really burnt out, right? And so let's assume a scenario whereby you as a UX designer, you're the only designer in a firm, right? And you work directly with CFO, which is the chief founder, whatever, right? So you as a UX designer, you already know your role and what you are supposed to do as a designer. And a case that the founder just insists that they need to do it, right? You might have answered this question, but how do you think we can be able to gain the customer loyalty? Because trust me, whatever affects the business also affects you. I don't know if you get what I'm, because there are cases that have been there several times, right? I don't know if you like get the question.
okay, I get your question. Okay, I've been in that situation as well. I've been there a lot of times, and I would say there is no problem that can be solved 100%, right? When we are building products, it's a progressive. That's why there are new features every time new updates. Sometimes you use an app today and you download the next tomorrow and you see something different. There are always time where people test. We just want to see how the user will behave. You get sometimes I believe many of us have experienced it, all of us have experienced that. You just WhatsApp release an update and then you do the update and you see something totally different from what you're used to. In most cases, they are not totally changing, they are not changing the thing. They just want to see how you feel. To me, I feel like they are looking for trouble, or maybe they are just taunting us. But they are using us to collect data because they want to see how we feel. So in this, in relation to your question now is to keep customers, if in most cases, we do not have 100% control over a customer. You can sometimes just hope that they stay, right? But we will not leave things to chance, right? You don't leave things to chance. That's why there's always opportunity to test and retest, change things and retest, change things and retest till you finally find what the user likes, right? I think there are tools that we use to collect all these kinds of data. We collect feedbacks as well. Sometimes if I want to design a product that is already existing that's in the Play Store, the first place I always go to find data is in the review section. You will find the 100% truth there. In fact, if somebody tells you that app is the best, go to that review section. That's where you find the real truth, because most people will tell you, I started using the app and then it started doing like this. I started doing this and started. That's when you collect the data first. So in most cases, we do not have 100% control of what the user feels about a particular product. We can only test to see what they like. And then what works for user A might not work for user B. What works. So we just have to find the balance in between that. Okay, if A can manage, B2 can manage, then we'll find a way to then solve the problems little by little over a period. So in fact, some product might not be perfect even after 1 year, or by iteration of redoing, of redesigning, refixing, retesting, you understand? So I don't know if that answers the question. So there's no way to perfectly solve a problem. It is a progressive, that's why there's always updates now, right? So you solve a problem, at least you can get user one to agree with you, it stays. Then now you have to try and convince user two as well. So even sometimes our bosses might not see things from our own perspective. They might always feel like, but there's always a but, right? There's always a but. But you are the professional, that's why you are being hired. You just have to find a way to convince them that, see, this thing cannot be solved at a goal from the beginning. It's a progressive thing. There's no perfect product, right? There's no perfect product. It's building a product that works for everybody. Even till today, I still hate the new WhatsApp updates, right? I still hate it because it's already just turned green from blue, right? And they are still testing. Tomorrow they can decide to take it back. It just depends on the user's feedback that has been collected and all of that. So I believe that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. So I think that will be all. So is there any other person that has any questions or ask? Okay, so in case of none, you can continue. Okay, so someone is raising his hand. Where's here?
Yeah, please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes,
Yes, we
please.
can hear you.
Yeah, so, yeah. Thanks for the awesome session. Uh, okay. So my question is, what are the metrics that you can use to measure your impact as a UX designer in a company? I don't know if you get that.
Okay, yeah, I heard you. We are still going there. The presentation is not done yet. So we are
Oh,
going to
oh,
get there
oh.
soon.
All
Yeah,
right.
so we are not done yet. All right.
Yes.
So thanks for that question. Your question is going to be answered soon. All right. So
Yes.
let's continue. So just like the question you just asked, measuring UX impacts on businesses. So first is user acquisition metrics. As UX direct impacts several key business metrics. Let's talk about a few, right? So user acquisition metrics, that's bounce rate. This is relating to websites and online platforms. That's bounce rates, measuring the percentage of visitors who leave the website after viewing only one page, right? Then the conversion rates, the customer acquisition cost, reflect the cost of acquiring a new customer, improve UX can lower CAC. Then we also have user behavior metrics, where we can check the amount of time that the user spends with the website, the page per session, the scroll depth, right? So these data are being collected. So I'll show you how to collect those data in a few seconds. Then user engagement metrics. This is click-through rates. You can collect all these kinds of data. So when you collect this data, you can then know if, say for instance, you are giving um, a, a task, let me say task, let's say
a job to do to revamp the website. Sometimes, there's a plugin like that on Figma that used to check its signature or mouse overing. I've forgotten the name of that plugin. So you can use that to, test how long a user spends on the website, the information that they find interesting, how far they scroll. So you can also check the customer satisfaction, by taking reviews. After using a product, they tell you, would you like, we see this a lot now. Would you like to rate this product now? How do you feel about this product from star one to star five? Right. Then those data are being saved somewhere. Then net promoter score that indicates customer loyalty and willingness to recommend the product. So that's for e-commerce platforms. And so for business impact metrics, you also track the revenue, right? We check the customer lifetime value, then churn rate. So this, you can take screenshots. I don't know, because of our time, we are not able to explain, but these are the analytic tools that are used by companies to take all this data, right? So you can use Google Analytics, right? But I think some are free and some are premium for use. Then Adobe Analytics, then we also have Mixpanel and Matoni. I've had experience with Mixpanel before and Google Analytics. So you can collect all this data by using these data analytic tools. So this data can be used during your UI UX research after the product is done, or you just want to collect user reviews or take um, from existing products if the company takes the data and information from. So you can use that data to then influence your new design or your proposed design or the new experience or the data strategy and the business strategy that you need to take on. So these are the tools that can be used to collect this data. So these data are usually used by maybe SEO specialists or people that are dealing with the data and company, like data scientists, data analysts, and all those things. So these tools can also be used by UX researchers to be able to understand how to position the company in the better place. Which foot are you supposed to take forward? The kinds of users that you're. I think many people that use Google Analytics will be able to tell that, okay, you would have seen the interface that tells you the number of people that are visiting your website, where they are from, their location, the type of devices they are using to access. So those kinds of data can be used to then position the app. Okay, maybe you want more mobile users, or you want more PC users. Now, how can we make our design look better? Should we focus on the web view or the mobile view? Those kinds of decisions, right? So these tools can help. If you can take a screenshot, that'll be fine. Then challenges and solutions. There's somebody's raising up their hand. There will be another question and answer session very soon, so we can just take a little bit of patience to get this soon. So challenges and solutions. There's overcoming challenges in aligning UX with business strategy. So these are the challenges, and these are suggested solutions. So short-term and long-term focus, like what Lola asked, that how does she solve a problem for a long-time use that can then keep the users? Sometimes people get bored. That's what I'll say. I'll say people get bored when they use a product, and after a while they stop using it. I know how many apps that I've downloaded, and after a while I stopped using them. Even games, sometimes I download them, and after a while I stop playing them. Right? Sometimes it's not about the product. Sometimes it's even my own interest. I might just lose interest. People lose interest. People don't lose their passion; they lose interest. So, short-term and long-term focus. Emphasize the long-term benefits of strong UX. Demonstrate how investing in user experience can lead to increased customer loyalty, reduce costs, and improve revenue over time. So now we just need to think of how to build something that the user is going to adopt for a very long time, right? Just like when you're building an MVP for a product, that product should be able to do the basic thing that user needs for his day-to-day activities. Take, for instance, you're building a fintech product. Every fintech product has one long-term benefit, which is to send money and to receive money. In most cases, if you cannot receive money, many people will not use it anymore, right? What is the use of a fintech app that doesn't send money or receive money? If it is that maybe at the end of the day they want to include loaning, or maybe they want to become a loan shark, or maybe a savings app or everything, For every fintech app, somebody should be able to put their money and then remove it. If they can put their money and can't remove it, that's a problem, right? So you should always think of the long-term thing to keep that product in use while we then think of other things to add to make the app a lot juicy. Just like, take for instance, you have inverter in your house and somebody and the company tells you that okay, we have an app that you can use to control this inverter. Right. It is a long-term focus, right? That app will definitely be used anytime, every day with that app. But what else can you add to make it more interesting? You can add maybe they can use it to purchase airtime, pay for maybe electricity bills, or there's some benefits. Maybe the more they buy airtime using the app, they get something like carbon credits, that carbon credit can then be converted to, so many little things that can be added, just like the way our fintech apps, they add some royalties for us to claim. Those kinds of things keep the user engaged. Even if it's not much, they're not gaining much, but keep them engaged. So over time, they become used to the app and help them to help the company to maintain long-term benefits. Right. Excuse me. So next one is conflicting priorities. Clearly clearly articulate the business value of UX. Use data-driven insights to demonstrate the impact of UX on key metrics. Build strong relationship with stakeholders to understand their priorities and find common ground. Just like Joshua suggested, that how can you find common grounds, right, with your boss or with other stakeholders in the company to be able to agree on one particular thing? Everybody has different interests, everybody has what they like, but you just have to come together because one, you have just one business goal. So whatever your suggestions might be, it must align with what the company is trying to solve. So that's very, very important. So there shouldn't be conflicting priorities. The lack of UX understanding. Educate stakeholders about the importance of UX. So people just think about the beauty of the product. Let us launch, let us launch, let us launch. It's not always about just launching in the market. If you launch and the experience of the product is terrible, you don't have it focused at a particular user, then you don't provide the clear explanation of what the product should do, right? Even the developers will get it wrong. The marketers will not know what to sell. The business people will not know what to promote, right? So lack of understanding, UX understanding would definitely ruin the product as well. Then resistance to change. Most people don't like change here, of which we know physics, they said change is constant, right? Involve stakeholders in the UX process because sometimes changing things in a product or changing the feel of a product might actually increase users' patronage. For me, I've used a lot of fintech products, and there are some that I would never use again. Reasons is probably maybe the way it looks, or maybe too long registration processes. They're collecting this, collecting that, collecting this, which is good in some case, but I think the experience from the beginning is very bad. So it's best to put those lots of data at the end, right? So that the user can still feel like, okay, I can get into the app, see what it looks like before you start bombarding me with home address, screenshot of my grandfather's house, all those things. So resistance to change. So it's very important that the people you create a product that everybody understands why you want to change some certain things and everybody align. Let's say encourage experimentation and iteration. That's why we test, we test, we test, we test till we find what works for everybody, right? Then measuring UX impact, like we talked about, we use data to demonstrate the ROI of UX initiative. Then insufficient resources. This is where most companies have problems, where you want to build 3 products and you only have one designer, or you want to build a fintech product that can do 1 million things, but you only have one developer. All those kinds of things. So there will be a lot of rushing. There will not be a lot of time to do proper research because you are short of people that are going to take drastic decisions. You're short of people that understand the market. You're short of people that are professionals. So it's prioritizing UX effort based on business impact. Utilize available resources efficiently. So if you want to do something big, you need big team, right? So that they can be able to align properly. Then misalignment between UX and development teams. This is a very big issue. I think I've experienced this a lot of times where the collaboration between the UX team and development team, most times developers used to spoil designers' work. I don't know if anybody agrees with me, please. I would like some thumbs up. Developers usually spoil designers' work. So it is good to establish clear communication channels and share goals, right? Let us understand I think there should be a clear communication between the UX and the development team. That this is the reason why we are doing this, right? You cannot skip this. If this is a pop-up, it should be a pop-up, right? So there should be a clear understanding between the UX, that's the user research or the user experience team, and the development team. There is always a reason why some things are done. They are not just done because of we want to cut corners, right? So they should foster collaboration between UX and development team. It's very, very important. I used to be a part of a team where the designers have never had meetings with the developers. Like I don't think I really knew anybody on the development team, which is not great, which is somehow cool because it's a big team, but it's not great because I will have to be able to communicate. I need to tell you the reason why this is like this. It's good for a direct connection between them. Not everything the product manager can understand. Sometimes like, we need to speak together and collaborate as a team so we can both understand what we are building and the decisions that are being made. So by addressing these challenges and implementing effective strategies, organization can successfully align user experience with business strategies, driving growth and customer satisfaction. Right. So the future of UX and business strategy. So let's just round up quickly. Time is fast spent. Yes, the evolving role of UX in business strategy. That's over a few years in the future. The AI and machine learning. So technology is actually taking up a lot of things, and now is not to see AI as something that will take a job. AI can actually help us to predict a lot of things now. So it is very important to factor AI and machine learning into UX research because um, uh, I would say machines are smarter in a way, not smarter, but they can think faster, they can get you data faster. So it's good for us to just for as UX designers to put that into our flow of user research and use AI to gather information and insight. It might not be accurate, but at least there's a 70% chance that you will get a good data that can drive your business decisions. Then in mass technology, that's VR, AR, MR, will define user interactions we define user interactions and demand new UX approaches, right? I believe a lot of people, most times when I'm on LinkedIn, I'm always seeing somebody designing one app is for this, designing the same thing over and over again, right? So there are new approaches that we need to explore. That's in the VR and AR industry and the MR industry. So they will actually define how humans are going to be interacting with products in the future. So you take someone that is blind, for instance, someone that is blind cannot use an Android phone or an iPhone, right? So now what about the part where they are now doing implants and all those things? So there are times, I don't know if that everybody agree with implants, but technology of the future definitely is still going to come and you'll be a designer to design for those kind of products when the time comes. So it is time for us to start researching ahead of time. Then ethical design, as technology becomes more pervasive, ethical considerations will be paramount in UX design, like thinking outside the box, thinking in a way that nobody has thought before, right? So it's really, really important. Then data-driven decision making, the role of data will expand, enabling more precise UX optimization, sustainability, and accessibility. I believe we understand those words in relation to the future. So expectations when UX intersects with business strategies. So UX driven innovation, customer experience as a core metric. We talked about that. design thinking as a business philosophy and human-centered AI. We know AI cannot think like human, but then we can build in terms of UX to understand that to ensure that these interactions remain human-centric, right? So I think that's basically all. That brings us to the end of section. So if there are any other questions, this is an open ground for us to push more questions.
Oh wow. Um, I don't know where to start from because this is really like a well packaged session. Thank you so much, Okwe, because I'm sure I myself and other people they've learned a lot. And this was really, really productive for us. Thank you so much. Yes, so I think I don't know, I don't want to murder the name. Is it Wes or no, I think you get what I'm saying, right? You wanted to ask a question. So I think you can just use the mic.
Yeah, I think
Um,
his question was answered right after.
yeah, so I think he was raising up his
Yeah.
hand again. So I
Okay.
don't know if that's correct. Okay, so
Oh,
I
that,
think
it's a mistake actually.
all right, thank you. So is there any other person that wants to ask question? Okay, so let's assume there is none. So thank you so much once again, Okwe. So let me just push this in. So there is always something about designers and developers, right? I literally understand that there is this fight. In fact, I've been there once, I've been there several times. So one thing that will ensure that we designers also try to do is that, see, you don't need to make your product or your design, you don't have to make it complicated, right? So just because you saw one animation, oh wow, this animation really makes sense. But what about the idea of you thinking if this is usable or functional by the people that are going to use it, right? So, and one thing I usually tell my mentors is that whenever you're starting to learn, right, like this is your first time having to like design products, don't ever go to dribble to start redesigning. Yes, some products they are very, very usable, but most of them, most of the designs there, they are just user interface. They are not usable at all, like at all, right? There are designs there that you just see that, oh, this is really beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful, but think about how this product is going to be used by users. And God so good, you also need to consider the kind of audience that you are designing for, right? You know, imagine that you are designing a product for people that are not tech savvy. How do you want to deal with that? You know, there will be a lot, you know, when it comes to bounce rates, and we really don't want that for the business, right? So let's always ensure, and of recent also, like I've been doing more of the implementation, like me designing and also implementing my design. Trust me, this is why I got to understand. Yes, I understand it, but I got to understand it more better that we designers, yes, I'm a designer, but please let's also pity developers. It's not easy. In fact, I was the one that designed a particular feature and I want to implement it. Trust me, guys, nobody told me before I tried to make that design as simple as it should. Right, I did that. So please, if we are designing to, let's always put developers in mind. And one hint that I can give you guys that this is what I do, right? In case you want to incorporate this as well, each time you are trying to design a product, make sure you are keeping your, in fact, if possible, put your developers first and also your stakeholders, like don't misquote me, right? So ensure that for every process you are doing in your design, it could be research, it could be competitive benchmarking, anything, just ensure that you are always carrying your developers along. This is very, very important, to be honest, because one particular maybe feature or a particular let me say an element could lead to bounce rate. Trust me, and these are things that are not very, very good for the design, right? there are also tools that I feel also that you could also use, maybe when it comes to accessibility or anything. There are tools like maybe Lighthouse, Wave, that you can also use to make sure that your design is very, very accessible, right? Like, these are things we should always keep in mind. And trust me, this is what also makes sure that you are different from other designers. See, I'm not talking about Twitter design. I'm sorry for putting in the word Twitter, because there is a whole lot of noise on that space, right? And you don't even know where to even start from to start giving people feedback. No, let's just make yourself different. That, okay, this is what I want to do. This is a product that I really want to be proud of, right? So I think that's just like my, let me call it a 1 cent that I think I can just push in. So before we go, Joshua, I don't know if you have any other thing to say, or if any other person has anything to say, you can just, yes, you can just take off the mic. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Lola. The only thing I want to add is, like you said, I think over the years working as a designer, one thing I've come to learn and I'm sticking with, because having that I've worked with quite a number of people, is let the design be functional first. Let at least be able to achieve the most basic tasks. Beauty comes later. What we see currently right now on Twitter, mostly everybody just designed for viewing pleasure. And I say viewing pleasure because there is really no well thought out process behind why they came up with, oh, this kind of button. It just looks nice, so let's stick it in. And to be honest, it's not necessary. And like you said, having that you began to write codes to like implement your design. You realize that even uh, most of the slickest design, if you check out Apple's website, it would be easy. There's a short conversation going on in the chat section with Wes and I, where it spoke about micro interactions. The what what makes Apple's website intuitive is more of the interactions. But if you look at it as a static page, you see that it's in its most basic form. Nothing much is going on there. It is just as simple as it can. As simple is. That's just it. So first off, make sure your designs are like they clearly achieve what the business is trying to achieve and what the the consumer wants to, it makes it easy for the consumer or the customers to like complete their tax. Then once you can do that, I think that is just the most basic thing. I'll paraphrase this statement, but a design is perfect. It isn't perfect when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take out of it. So it means a design is perfect when it's in its most simplest form. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you so much, Joshua. Yes, so which means usability should always be the first thing on your mind when you are designing a product, and not even the user interface for now. Think about the usability and the
Yeah.
functionality. Thank you so much, Joshua. Thank you so much, Okpe. So
Yeah,
quick,
so just to add, for anyone who might not get it, like that's why you have low fidelity. So low fidelity is a part of like being just highlighting the core function of what the design um should be. That's just it. So thank you.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
thank you.
I also want to add this. I'll say sometimes it's not just being about the designer all through. I think a designer should have a little bit of knowledge of what happens in the web space. I think there's something they call these web content accessibility guidelines, right? So many designers do not even know what is possible and what's not possible. Because when I started off as a developer, but then later I then found my calling and transition to design, right? So I knew what is possible. I know what is possible. Sometimes when I see a design, I'll be like, this thing is not implementable. It's not fine. It might be possible, but in the real sense, nobody will take this route in developing stuff like this. In fact, the project will crash, right? So because I have an understanding of what the basic HTML, CSS stuff, how it works, basic JavaScript, how it works, right? So there are lots of technologies that can help us to build outstanding things these days, but
a designer should have a basic knowledge of what development, what is possible. And also, there's some information that people do not take into consideration when building a digital product. Also, the type of technology that will be used to build that product, and so also is very, very important. Very, very, very important. So there are so many things that a lot of designers forget. They just tell you they want to build an application, boom, you have jumped to Dreambook, start looking for inspiration and stuff. Like you need to ask, okay, how is this platform going to be built? What technology is going to be used to build this? Because there are some technologies that after your design, when the developer starts, those things are not implementable. It's just not possible. And then they will take other route and end up, the whole experience and stuff didn't work out. And it will look like as if the developer knows how to work, but your design was terrible. Right. So I think designers need to take their time to understand how the web works, how the mobile device works, and read through the guidelines of what should be done. So people will be designing and using text, they're in font of like 6 pixels, 7 pixels. Like really, right? It's those things are terrible. They don't even follow the guidelines, right? So I will still feel like every designer should, one way or the other, take your time and go and research how the web platform works, what is possible and what's impossible. Understand the basic. I'm not saying go and learn programming or coding, but go and read through to see the basic guidelines that guides building web products. In fact, those are the little things that will make you stand out as a designer. That will make you make some kind of decisions and you'll be like, wow, that's very thoughtful, right? So yeah, so that's basically what for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. But I'm very sure that if we just continue, we can use more than 2 hours here, right? Because we're kind of enjoying this. So I think, yeah, Antonio Dedayo has a question.
So I don't have a question. So I was just sort of happy when I hear. Because I'm a developer, right? So I just came to at least understand and learn from you guys. So I'm very happy when I hear when I hear designers saying, "Oh, you need to have like knowledge of maybe design, like the main implementation, HTML and CSS, for at least little understanding of it we help." And I just want to add that most of the things that Okpe shared and some of the questions have been really helpful. And don't joke with some of these things. I can tell you for free that most of these skills are things that will help you get better. And I was telling Okpe when we were preparing for this that a lot of people want to earn millions in tech and they don't want to do the work. So don't take most of the things that has been shared here for granted, right? It looks a lot like over 30 something slide, but when you're interviewing or applying for some of these big companies, those are the kind of questions they might actually ask you, and you might actually get answers to those questions from some of the things that has been shared here. So don't take them for granted. Like don't say I should begin. It is for me to just design and share have it there, and maybe someone just suggested something, just go online and just pick maybe some ideas and just start implementing. So, and even for me as a developer, I learned some things, right? Like having stakeholders and all of that. They applies to software engineers also, right? And make a lot of sense. Thank you very much for this wonderful section. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Antonio. That was really, really helpful because I know that designers and developers they always fight. So at least in case, so like you said, it's not a must for you guys to learn coding, but definitely it's a plus. In fact, if you're applying for jobs, you see people some job description that says, okay, having HTML and CSS is a plus, right? You don't even need to know everything, but just the basics, because it's also be a guide for you when you're designing. Before we go, guys, thank you so much for joining, and please make sure you guys follow us on our social media platform: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Please, you guys should. ensure that you follow us because there is going to be more events coming up. In fact, we really have a lot coming up this year already. So you guys should stay tuned and follow us. Thank you so much, guys. Is that all, guys? I don't know if you have any other question before we go. Any other thing to say before we leave?
Yeah, I just want to add that someone asked if you'll be getting the slide. Yeah, so for those that registered, you should get the slide sent to your email, and this meeting is recorded. So once we share this on maybe YouTube or any of those platforms, the link to the slide should be added, included also. So expect that.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, so do have a wonderful day and night, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Alright.
Bye,
Goodbye,
guys.
everyone. Good night.
Much okay. Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mola. Good night, Anthony. Good
Good night,
night,
everyone.
Josh.